Great. Nice to hear your voice this morning. First, let me ask you what you make of what has been happening in terms of that led to Honorable Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu deciding to resign as the leader of the majority caucus in Parliament.
Well, it is sad, and it shows us that we don't understand what we are doing. He should never have become Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. But maybe he looked at the package that goes with it, the money that goes with it, because majority leader is independent of the president. You tell the president what the parliament has decided or what they want to do. You don't go and put yourself under him. So if you are majority leader, parliamentary member, nobody can fire you. You see, nobody can fire you because you're elected. But if he's been forced to resign, that means the president forced him to resign from the position of Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. That is the only position he can be forced to resign. You cannot force him to resign as majority leader. Well, the majority members in Parliament can do that, but you cannot remove him as an MP. You see, this is the problem. And so if anybody forced him to resign, it must be the president. Nobody else has that power except him. So he cannot deny he forced him to resign.
You're blaming the president for it?
Not blaming him. He is the one who did it because he's the one with that power. If you have the power and you exercise it, it's not blame. You exercise it, and the person has no choice. You have appointment powers and you have removal powers. And he has exercised one. But cannot remove him as an MP because he was elected. You cannot remove him as majority leader because it's the parliamentarians who made him majority leader, not the executive branch. And this system preserves the separation of powers. You see. So now he was in a dual position. He's under executive and he's under the legislature. Which one is it? It can't be both at the same time. But that's what he wants. And when it worked, it makes things a little easier and the package was good. Now, the chickens have come home to roost. I'm sure he regret doing that. This is it. Nobody can deny that the president forced him to resign. Because he's the only one with that authority. Not Bawumia, because he's not president yet. He doesn't have that power.
I see. So if the president exercised that power, do you think that was exercised correctly?
Well, the result remains to be seen. The result of it is what that will show. But from the preliminary information, it's not good. People do not accept that. And it's not a good thing because a man who is called the Mugabe of Parliament should not be removed this way. After all this long service, this is his thanks. He should go out with the bank. The Parliament itself may want to hold a special something for him as thanksgiving, as encouragement for others to serve the country. But when you get to this pinnacle, and you can be removed this way, well, what's the point? What's the point? It's not good at all. See? It is the president who removed him. Nobody can say otherwise. That's what it is. And it's not because anybody has told me anything. I don't know anything about the internal politics. But this is how, logically, that's the conclusion.
And your conclusion, the conclusion that you're making will be surprising to a lot of people because people see him as a strong ally of the president, one of those who the president doesn't have huge issues with, and is one of those the president holds in high esteem and has been happy with his stewardship thus far.
Well, the relationship was not always rosy, but of course, it doesn't rise to the surface So those of us sitting outside, that's all we see what is in the news. Very well done, undercurrents, you see. And now it's come out. Because it's come out. I don't know how anybody can come and explain it. If the president says you are removed as Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, you are removed. It's nothing you can do. But the president cannot come to you and say you are removed as MP or even majority leader. He can't, unless the majority of parliamentarians agree with the president. That's the problem. And he chose to go that way, and this is the result. You are under the executive branch. That actually messes up the parliamentary arrangement. The structure is messed up because you belong to both sides. Shouldn't be that way.
You seem to be, in one breath, also blaming him, virtually saying he laid this bed himself by deciding to be both in the executive and in the legislature.
Well, in a way he did. But I don't think he ever suspected this will happen. I'm sure several times he bent over backwards to please the president, I'm sure. The president will tell him to do something, then it's his responsibility to go and convince his colleagues, which I'm sure he did very well. But what about himself? If you have a disagreement with the president, what happens? Your colleagues cannot come to your defense because he has the sole power. And this is it. This exercise that power. He can still be in parliament, but how effective is he going to be? Can he be in parliament as majority leader when the president has appointed somebody else as minister for parliamentary affairs? It's not possible. So then he's bound up. But it's really is very bad. It's in very bad taste. You served this long. We should congratulate you for that long service. Parliament should do something special for you. Some sort of handshake and goodbye. That's how it should be. No forced out. No, it's not good.
Then what then do you make of the fact that a day before or even a few hours before he resigned, Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu was, I said, the first deputy speaker, Osei Kyei Mensah, was on the floor of parliament actually debating the speaker on the new standing orders and what caucus mean when it comes to changing the majority leader. There seemed to have been a popular support for him before he decided to step down. What would this mean to the majority caucus and unity, and also working with the presidency to at least achieve their aim over the 6 or 7 or 8 months that they have left?
Many of them are not happy. You see, for example, who's the MP at Obuasi? One of the people who opposed the finance minister. The president said it himself. He's going to field candidates who challenge those who wanted to oust the finance minister. I think it's only 2 of them who survived. Maybe I'm wrong. So this MP was offered minister of something. He said no, he doesn't want it. He hasn't come out to make any noise. But do you think he's happy? No. You want to get rid of me, and then when I'm successful, you want to be my supporter. No. You still suspect that there's something cooking. And this president will do it. You don't cross him. Because he will come back. He doesn't forget these things. That's how he
is. You're saying that the people who actually supported Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu will pay for it?
Well, not exactly what I'm saying. It remains to be seen because, as I said yesterday, there's a news within the news, which we have not heard yet. And it will come very soon. That's why we'll get the details, you see.
A news within the news?
Yes.
Which dog has heard, but I have not heard?
I have not heard.
Doc, I'm
I
sure you
have.
have heard. You just don't want
No,
to tell me.
no. I'm telling you honestly, before God, that I've not heard anything. Sometimes they think I have a secret source of information. I don't. You just look at their pronouncement and you can tell what is going on. You understand? And it will come, you see. But analysis I just made with you as Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, is it not right?
Yes.
He didn't want to go back to become majority leader, just ordinary majority leader. And so I'm sure out of anger or frustration, whatever, he just quit outright. They offered him the seat of the majority leader yesterday. He refused. You see, he just said, Joe Wise is still there. So why is Osei Kyei Mensah leaving now? He's still there. He says he's retiring, but he's still there. So why couldn't this one also be there? And his time is up. And he quit. Because he'll create a lot of problems. If, for example, the president appoints somebody else as Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, and Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu is the majority leader, who makes the decision? And the liaison between Parliament and the presidency is dependent on Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu. So why is somebody else the one who's talking to the president? That's the problem. It creates more problems if he remains. So he quit.
I see. But he's been replaced with Alexander Afenyo-Markins. What do you think of the choice of the replacement?
Well, that one is obvious because he was the deputy. And so he has experience in that role. And parliamentary appointment is by seniority and experience. Unless somebody else can challenge him, who's been in the parliament longer than him, he's the obvious choice. And that's what has happened. You go to parliament, you should not assume that the role you are playing, everybody is very happy with it role. Because somebody is eyeing your position. Especially now that you are minister, the package that counts to being a minister is quite a bit. And he would like to have it too. So why not? Well, it falls on him, he's going to accept it, to your shock. Yep.
I hope you're not suggesting that he undermined the majority leader.
Oh, no, I never said that. You don't have to undermine him to be the obvious choice. If you are the number 2 person, sometimes even your loyalty to the person you served under, that alone will make you the obvious choice. Because you did it well. You supported him. That alone, some people put a lot of importance on that to appoint you that, yeah, it should be the next person. So I don't know what happened. In few instances, there are backbitings and things like that, but I don't know if in this instance we have it. The two of them, we used to get along very well.
Does it come across to you from monitoring him as someone who can unite the majority bench? Because certainly there will be differences. People will not be happy with what has just happened.
People are not happy. People are not happy. They don't understand it. He heard Obi Boah himself is going to form his own party. Abronya DC says he's going to talk, we're going to say this and that. I mean, the division in the party is getting worse. As I said before, it's a matter of time. If they don't manage this one properly, that'll be the end of it. Forget the 8. You must remember the A, not 8. A. Mm-hmm.
Not 8.
Forget the 8.
A.
I remember.
Because I've heard breaking the 8. The A is where A, as in an expression of surprise.
Exactly. But this, the continuous division, this is going to be the results. You see, you can't keep dividing the party, having enemies within, disgruntled supporters. Who is wholeheartedly behind you? That's the thing. And so it makes everybody expected to go the other way. How many people are in the party anyway? We are attracting fraudulent voters. And you yourself, you are fighting. How do you attract anybody? Is it attractive for anybody to join you when you yourself you are fighting? No. No, it's not good. Look at Alan went this way. He took a lot of people with him. Then there's a masked man, the Biako, who supported you to be targeted. MPP too. And voting with. Okay, and this has happened. Further division along the line. And who is left? Well, you're going to win. Mia says he's going to be his own man. Now you find out it's the president who is calling the shot. If he's going to be his own man, it starts now. It starts now. Because if you don't manage your campaign well to win, you can forget being your own man. That's it. Right? But we see now, he's not the one who made the decision about Osei Kyei Mensah. Does he have a lot of crowd to agree with the president? I don't know. And this shouldn't be, not at this point, no, not at all. They should have made it a nice way of exiting, even if he's quitting. Because he's not going to come back after this session. If you quit now, it's not a big deal. But why do you make it that he's forced out? Well, why do you do that? I don't know.
But he has a role, because I understand in fact, the report is that he is now the chairman of the Manifesto Committee. That's a key role.
Now it's for Baumia, not for Nanado. Manifesto of Baumia and the NPP. Yes.
So that should mean that he has a future with, at least the future sees him as strategic enough to play that role. So maybe in the interim it doesn't look good, but he's a Manifesto Committee chairman. Is that not good for him?
It's not as important as it sounds. How many governments come and follow their manifesto? How many? Well, we don't follow, okay, we didn't know the situation on the ground, so now when we've seen it, we cannot follow what we wrote, whatever, and that's it. So it's not as important as it sounds. I was on the manifesto committee for Nanado. What happened to me? How do we use the manifesto itself?
You have just 1 minute remaining.
Well,
or did you follow it?
Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, this is Dr. Richard Amoako Baah speaking to us this morning. He's a political scientist, member of the New Patriotic Party. When I asked him about the Manifesto Committee thing, he said, I was on the Manifesto Committee. Look what has happened to me. In fact, it was an important part of that campaign in the 2016. But he still be alienated completely alienated. Very interesting.
And community chairman of the Manifesto Committee and still on your majority leader in Parliament. Is it not possible?
I think yes.
So why?
Yes. In fact, when you are in power, you don't draft up a manifesto like an opposition party. You're looking at what you've done and how you continue it and how you push it to the next stage.
And like Dr. Amoako Baah is telling you, he was part of Nanado's Manifesto Committee. And echo saying later no akron one yenef AC saying na yafa say Manifesto Committee Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu. And you see, was serving party ni say 7-time member of parliament. And the MA Ukraine say or say I do not want to be the eye of the storm.
To be in the eye of
the storm.
To be okay, I think the eye of the storm.
I don't want to be the eye of the storm.
Yes. Yes, because the very use of the word storm. And if you go back and read actually what they said he read.
Okay.
If you go back and read and let me go through the statement. The statement that he is said to have read. This is it.
Okay.
In my absence from the country, it says first, I have served the party diligently ever since I entered Parliament on the same day, January 7th, 1997, with the president. I believe I have served the party very well to the best of my ability, and I have no regrets. There is a difficult battle ahead of us, to which enterprise all of us must commit ourselves. We are at a critical juncture that requires absolute unity and peace within our ranks to successfully prosecute the Breaking the Eighth agenda. In my absence from the country, certain issues had been raised to which I have been connected. And I read that point again. In my absence from the country, certain issues had been raised to which I have been connected. I do not want to be the eye of the storm. Nothing should be done that will precipitate cataclysmic consequences. Typical Osei Kyei Mensah Bonsu language. Says, that is why I am stressing peace and unity. For those of my colleagues who are here, let me express my most sincere gratitude to you all for the partnership and assistance that you have provided to propel the agenda of the party, and latterly, government. At this stage, I want to inform Mr. President, the members of leadership here in present, the leadership of the party, and all others, that I voluntarily declare my intent to step down as the majority leader before you, my colleagues here and now, in order to afford the caucus the opportunity to choose their leader. I thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity afforded. Thank you all once again. He said that was all he said at the meeting. That was his statement that he read at the meeting. Clearly, like Doc said, he felt that there was something coming up because he says, he calls it a storm. There were issues in my absence. There have been issues to which I have been connected. Issues had been raised to which I have been connected. I do not want to be the eye of the storm.
Okay.
So when you read both, it tells you that there are deeper issues than is being talked about.
Yeah, so I think the Republic Press say there is division no. Ebe no kre. Even utie ne letter no kra na